you've been attending Pellissippi for at least a year, there's a good chance you might have seen me flying around on this thing on my way to class. While some people knew exactly what it was, I was baffled by how many other people either asked me what in the heck I was holding or just looked at me like I was crazy. Today, I will shed light for you non-skaters out there about Boosted, the company, the boards, even how to go about riding. Boosted was founded in 2012 through a wildly successful Kickstarter campaign that promised premium skateboards, and they would soon deliver. They destroyed their $100,000 Kickstarter goal and even amassed $467,000 from backers that saw the potential of these skateboards. Now, it wasn't long before these boards found their way into the hands of extremely happy customers like James Lynch, who said these boards are, quote, sturdy, powerful, and capable, and fun as hell to boot, end quote. And that was after a 90-mile journey from New York to Philadelphia on one of these bad boys. That's a crazy amount of distance for a skateboard. So Boosted became the gold standard after a short time, and they became the board everyone wanted. They were a name synonymous with the best quality in the business and boards that were built to last. Now, unfortunately, couldn't last forever, and in March of this year, Boosted had to close its doors, lay off most of its employees, and look for a buyer. While Boosted didn't publicly release a statement themselves, it became the consensus among everybody that it was, quote, tariffs, competition, and a niche market that drove this company into extinction. These boards are quite expensive. This one right here was about $1,000 new. I didn't get it new, but if you wanted to, that's what it would have cost. So the market was pretty niche, but they are a lot of fun. Now, for the boards, you can still find some on the original manufacturer's website, although the quantity is limited. It's boostedusa.com, and you can find them all over the place on places such as eBay or other online marketplaces. Now, while I could go in depth about every iteration of these boards, it pretty much boils down to just two start types. There was the original Boosted board, which was made out of a long bamboo deck that would flex whenever you'd ride it. So it created natural suspension wherever you go. So if you were hit a crack or a rock, you really wouldn't feel it because you would just, bounce like a spring. Now, this is the Boosted Mini, and the difference is this board is 8.5 inches shorter, is completely rigid, and it includes what's called a kicktail right here, which is very important. The kicktail is important because it allows for a 0-degree turn radius when you do what's called a kick turn. And a kick turn is simply when you stand on the board, you put your foot on this and it acts like a lever, and you can lift up these front two wheels like that, and you can turn whatever direction you want, which makes for extreme maneuverability in places like cities or sidewalks where you just need to make a quick turn. Now, for the board itself, you'll notice if you were to pick it up, it is very, very heavy for a skateboard. This board weighs about 15.5 pounds because it's just built so well. It's just such nice quality that everything's metal. And second thing you'd notice is probably from a profile view, you'll see how much this stuff just comes right off the underside of the board. This right here is the battery. It's an extended range battery, so it claims to go 14 miles on a single charge. Kind of unrealistic, but that's what they claim. This down here is the heat sink, which takes heat away from the battery and also houses more electronics. And these right here are the dual belt-driven motors that actually send you flying up and down the road. And that's the board. Let me show you a little bit about the remote. The remote, simple. It's just a Bluetooth remote. You can have a lanyard on it if you want. Has a kill switch that needs to be engaged if you want to start riding. Has this wheel, just like an RC car remote, forward to go forward, backward to go backward or to brake. And just this power button, and you can switch modes on it right here. This board has 3 modes. It has beginner, it has eco, and it has professional, or extreme as I like to call it. The beginner mode, it only goes about 12 miles per hour. Eco mode goes about 16, and pro, it goes about, with these wheels I got on it, it can go about 20 miles an hour. So, if we're or start it up, you just hold this button, turn the remote on, hold this button, turn the board on. Alright, we got the blue light, so they're paired up. So you can see how powerful this thing is. Pretty crazy. So if you were to start riding, you really would not want to go with the remote first. You just want to learn how to ride a skateboard just to begin with, like a normal skateboard. I would recommend you just step on, try not to go anywhere. Maybe get a wall next to you so you know you won't fall. Figure out what foot you push with, very important. I would get used to just pushing this board around. Get used to turning. Get used to using the kicktail to turn. Then I would get your helmet and I would turn the board on. I would start obviously on the beginner mode. See how that treats you. Don't go too harsh or on the remote, or you might just send yourself flying. It's all about learning. It's a whole new thing. I've been skateboarding for most of my life, and when I set foot on one of these for the first time, it kind of scared me. So when you get going even faster, you'll learn that you need to kind of lean forward before you initiate the motors, or else it'll just send you flying off, and nobody wants that. So if you get to going to where you're going downhill, starting at 20 miles per hour, getting up to like speeds of 35 miles an hour, definitely need a helmet. That is for sure, because if you get knocked off one of these, it can cause serious brain damage. But yeah, I hope I've shed some light onto this company that's meant a lot to me over the past few years. This is something I've always strived for and something I've always wanted, and I've finally got one for myself. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this talk about boosted boards, and thank you so much. Have a good day.